Good afternoon, good evening for those who are joining us right now. We're just going to give it a few more minutes before the webinar begins. Hello to those that are joining us at the moment. We're just going to give it a few more minutes before the webinar begins at 12 noon. Hello there to those that are joining us. Good morning to those that are joining us. Good afternoon, good evening. We are beginning the webinar very shortly. We'll be starting at 12 noon. Just giving everyone a little bit more time to join the session today. All right then, good afternoon and good evening and welcome to the webinar. So I'm going to formally start the session today. So hello to those that are joining us from across the UK and the rest of the world. So in this session today, we'll be finding out about the opportunity to access the UK's excellence in agri-tech innovation through membership across 2 agri-tech sister organisations. So I'm Annabelle, Membership and Events Manager at Agri-EPI Centre, and I'll be your host for the session today. So just a few housekeeping rules before we begin. So as attendees, you're all on mute for the session, but please interact with us through the chat function. So let us know that you're here, a little bit about company information, and maybe whereabouts you're based. So questions will be taken at the end of the presentation, but please submit them as we go. So if there's a question that you think of based on a presentation, please submit them early on and we'll just take them at the very end of the session. This session is being recorded, so you can forward it on to anyone who misses the session, for example, your colleagues or other companies that you might be interested in this opportunity. So as you can see from the agenda, there will be 45 minutes of presentations, and at the end, we'll have 15 minutes for Q&A. These are our excellent speakers today who will be covering these opportunities to access these 2 UK agri-tech organisations' expertise, capabilities, and ultimately their excellent member network. So I'll introduce each speaker as we go. So first of all, I'm delighted to introduce our first speaker today, Dr. Sam Hose, to highlight the UK agri-tech opportunity. Dr. Sam Hose is the Animal and Livestock Agri-Tech Specialist for the UK Government's Agri-Tech organisation within the Department of International Trade. His role is to increase overseas inward investment by linking academia and industry to develop world-class R&D and business opportunities in the sector. He provides scientific advice on animal agri-tech nutrition and genetics. So Sam, if you could share your screen, please, and bring your video on.
Hello, Annabelle. Is that, do you have the full screen?
We do. Thank you, Sam.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you very much for the invite, Annabelle, and welcome everybody from wherever you are. It's really brilliant to be speaking to you on such a lovely summer's day here in the UK. So I'm going to give you a very brief overview of the agri-tech opportunities that exist within the UK, and move on to the support that DIT can help you as a business to move into the UK. So we have a very vibrant SME agri-tech community in the UK, which consists of incubators, accelerators, agri-tech centres, such as Agri-EPI and CHAP, who are organised this event that we're on today. And there are also a group of centres called catapults, like the Satellite Applications Catapult, the Centre for Process Innovation, High Value Manufacturing and Digital. The government is very supportive of this sector. And for companies that have innovations that are nearer to market, we have a relatively large population of 67 million people who to market to. We have a dynamic food supply chain that throughout the chain are eager for innovations and adopting innovations. We have large companies who are really keen to work with SMEs, and we have, through the things like the Agri-Tech centres, a group of SMEs who are really keen to work with each other in terms of bringing forward innovations in this space. So to give you a bit of a background in terms of agriculture in the UK, which I think is useful in terms of people entering the UK, we're really split into sort of two halves. So over on the diagram on the right, and you'll see this in the following slide, over on the right in the east of the country, it's dry and there's more arable, and over on the west, it's wetter and there's more permanent grass grown. So the crops that are grown in the UK are arable crops that are grown are predominantly combinable crops. So wheat, barley, and then oilseed rape as a break crop. There's an increasing amount of maize grown, both for feeding to ruminants, to dairy cattle and beef cattle, but also to go into AD plants, anaerobic digesters. The amount of peas and beans is also probably growing, and that probably will grow as well with the certainly on the pea side in terms of the rotations and things that exist and putting nitrogen back in the soil. And then there's a variety of lower acreage crops grown across the UK. So in terms of the arable sector, there's a large receptive market. It's one of the largest in Europe, and we have relatively sophisticated growers in terms of the enterprises. They're usually relatively large. They're really interested in innovations, and they're ready to adopt new technology. So I don't personally believe in the thing that farmers don't adopt technology quickly. If you look at the varieties that people grow, they are exceedingly rapid adopters of new technologies as they come along. We have an efficient supply distribution within the UK. We have professional agronomists who can work with companies. There's a relatively easy geography in terms of certainly the arable farms to work with, and there's an excellent infrastructure across the UK for people to work with. So moving on to the livestock side, and this is sort of mirrors what I've just said on the combinable crop side. So over on the west and the north and the southwest and over in Northern Ireland is predominantly permanent pasture or sown grass, which is grazed by ruminants, by dairy cattle and beef cattle and sheep. Pigs are more concentrated over on the east of the country, and poultry is spread out throughout the country, but again towards the east or the middle. The pig population again, is quite different to many places in the world, that about half the pig population is housed outdoors and about half of it is indoors. There is, these are the numbers in terms of cattle and animals in the UK, and unusually, I suppose, across Europe and things, there's a high sheep population that provides lamb to the UK, but also export. We have a stable pig population of some 4.6 million, and there's significant integrated poultry operations as well. And the two at the bottom, there is, and we certainly include them in terms of DIT's remit, the horse population and pets. There's a significant amount of pets, and I have a slide on that subsequently. The largest sector in the animal side is on the animal feed, and there's some 5,500 million pounds worth of sales into the sector. Most of the largest amount goes into poultry, followed by cattle, and then pigs and sheep follow. There are some 300 manufacturers in the UK. There are several large manufacturers, but other than that, there are specialist manufacturers producing feed and additives like that going into the UK, but also for export. The animal breeding side is a significant strength in the UK. So there are breed societies in terms of, say, like Ayrshire and Guernsey and those sort of things. The sheep sector, the ovine sector, is all around breed societies. There are a number of pig porcine breeding companies that are very international, and there are a number of poultry breeding companies that operate on a global basis. But there are lots of subsectors. So one, animal health, which I'll mention in a minute, but nutrition, housing, management, the breeding that I've talked about, and research. And normally I would talk a bit more about the research side, but I'm going to leave that to others in this in these presentations. So the animal health market is a significant market in the UK, and that is worth some 725 million. There are a large number of vets operating in the UK, and as I said in the previous slide, the pet sector is very significant in the UK. So down at the market in the pet sector is some £6 billion worth. There's pets are kept by 12 million households in the UK, and about 40% of the population has a pet. So the pet market in the UK is significantly strong. In terms of agri-tech investment into the UK, that has changed quite rapidly, and you can read some of these things, and I will just pick out some aspects of this. But the agri-tech market in the UK has changed enormously in the last, say, 5 years, and we are somewhere near the top on a repeated basis in terms of inward investment. And the statement from Margarita Vestager in Denmark, I think, has been that China has all the data, the US has all the money, but in Europe we have a purpose. And I think that is very true of a lot of the agri-tech companies that I work with, in that they are really driven by things like mitigating climate change, concern for the environment, and those sort of things. And that's feeding into the whole new agricultural landscape that we have in the UK, and the new funding now that we've left the EU. And in this year's AgFunder report, for the first time, and this is on the global basis, there is more money being invested in the upstream side, in the agri-tech side, rather than the sort of downstream shop side, delivery side, the logistics and things. So there's been a change there, and we'll just see whether that continues. But that's really good news. So in terms of what we have in the UK, and some of this goes back to my first slide, there's world-class science across the UK, and the agri-tech centres who are on this call are really a brilliant conduit to accessing that world-class science to help companies do that. We have a progressive food and farming supply chain. So as I said, through from farmers, processors and retailers are really keen to adopt technology. And we have a dynamic business environment in terms of it's a good place to do business on lots of measures, and there's a number of tax incentives in terms of doing business over here. So in terms of the investment support, so the business support that DIT can provide, beyond what the specialists provide in terms of the agri-tech side of things, we can provide companies with search capabilities in terms of salary levels, recruitment, location, property and planning and things. So if companies enter the UK, we can do a scan across the whole of the UK and look at what salaries levels are across the UK, so you can start to work out where you want to be located and things. We can help with setting up bank accounts, dealing with corporation tax and VAT and things. And bank account is a little bit more tricky nowadays than it used to be. And we can also help on the legal side in terms of what's the appropriate legal structure that a company needs to operate in terms of what it's doing in the UK. And also we can help with the registration at Companies House. And the final bit in here, in terms of the tax side of things, there are R&D tax credits that companies can avail themselves to in terms of investing in the UK, and patents that are registered here in the UK. Again, the profits from those patents, there are some tax relief that can be given. So there's just a range of other things that are mentioned here in terms of the business side of support that DIT can provide to investors when they come to the UK. So in summary, besides the agri-tech side of things, there's an amount of market support that can be provided. There's a well-developed agri-tech innovation landscape in the UK. The agri-tech centres who are on this call today are a superb soft landing pad for UK companies, but also international companies. There is a network of innovation centres for you to work with. There is funding for industry-led research, which again doesn't happen across the world, so that's relatively unique. And all of these things lead to a de-risking of market entry for companies entering the UK. So thank you very much. That's myself and some contact details on LinkedIn, and enjoy the rest of the presentations from everybody else. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you. We can see some great opportunities for companies across the UK and some great support from DIT there, so I appreciate that. Okay, so next we are going to hear about Agri-EPI Centre's role in enabling agri-tech innovation across the UK and international. So I am delighted to introduce Business Development Director for Agri-EPI Centre, Lisa Williams. So Lisa has a vast experience in the agri-food sector, having spent over 20 years working in the industry in a variety of different roles. Lisa has dealt with the project management and direction of a range of assignments in the fresh and processed horticulture sectors, as well as the pork, dairy, poultry and beef sectors, with clients from across the supply chain, operators, government departments, levy bodies, organisations in both the UK and globally. So Lisa, we can see your screen. So over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Annabelle. Well, it's a pleasure to be able to give an overview of Agri-EPI, and it's great that we're able to launch the joint membership from Agri-EPI and CHAP today, and there'll be some more information later on. But very briefly, I've just got 5 minutes to give an overview of Agri-EPI, which is quite difficult considering the amount of areas that we work in. But overall, we have 3 main objectives, and this is to be a key player in ensuring that the UK is a world leader in precision agriculture and engineering. We operate in a wide range of industry-led activities in applied research and development, demonstration, training and education. And we really do act as the enabler that sits within leading academic institutions. So we have a range of partners from SRUC, Edinburgh University, Harper Adams, Cranfield University, as well as many others. We broker collaborations, whether that be within tech developers to tech developers, or tech developers to supply chain operators. So we have a wide network that we're able to tap into. We're able to test and demonstrate new technologies from around our bespoke facilities. So for example, our Southwest Dairy, as well as access to our 24 satellite farms. We have access to R&D funding, and we provide services to help businesses tap into that funding. We have business incubation facilities. So if you have a new product and you want to engineer a new product, a new technology, we have the incubation facilities around the UK, from the north, Edinburgh, to the incubation facility that we have at the Midlands, to our facilities in the south. Through our technical team, who are all or have been always worked in the agri and food sectors, or from technology, they have technology backgrounds. So we're really able to help businesses on the knowledge exchange and the dissemination. Whilst it's great having all of these ideas in terms of developments within agri-tech, it's how does that make an impact on farm, and how is that affordable? And that's where we can really help. And we're also able to influence policy. Now, as I've mentioned on the previous slide, we really are the go-to enabler. We do sit within many of the areas, and we collaborate across a number of these stakeholders that you see here. In terms of the services and support, as I've mentioned, we can provide access to R&D funding, project management. We have international links as well as UK-based links, and we have a range of smart farms. We have 2 in China, 1 in New Zealand, and 1 in Paraguay that really do act as launch beds for technology. We have the technical expertise that I've mentioned, and a range of R&D capabilities. We have a growing network at present. We have 172 members. Actually, that has increased this morning. We now have 173. And this really does vary in terms of those members that we have within our network. This ranges from hardware, software developers, GIS, technology, from food processors, retailers. It really does cover the whole supply chain. And in terms of our innovation map, as I mentioned, this really does cover the breadth of the UK. The white is our satellite farm network, and the 4 dots, there's 5 dots that represent our main hubs. In terms of our asset portfolio, we have a range of incubation facilities, and we also have a range of assets, technical assets, that we're able to hire out to academic, scientists, industry, to help them on their journey with the development of particular technology. So we have 24 UK farmers, commercial farmers, covering a range of sectors that we're able to test new developing technology on, as well as our international smart farms, where we're able to, again, test technology in a different environment. We have a range of facilities in livestock and dairy. We have our commercial 180 dairy in Glastonbury, our Southwest Dairy Development Centre, where a range of trials can be undertaken. There's crop and soil health, and again we have a phenotyping gantry which we work with CHAP on. We have a range of fields and lab solutions, and we have the incubation facilities across our 3 areas, and we also have aquaculture facilities. On an international level, as I've mentioned, we have 2 smart farms pretty much in Beijing. We focused on crops, but also recently working in pigs and on dairy. In New Zealand, we've been working on technology in cattle, and likewise in Paraguay as well. So we really are looking at how we can build and develop those further. So if anyone's interested, please don't hesitate to contact me. And yeah, as I said at the beginning, this is a great opportunity for us to launch a joint membership. We look forward to working with many of you. If you have any comments, queries, please do not hesitate to contact me. There's my contact details. And also please don't hesitate to reach out on LinkedIn as well. It's been lovely speaking with you all.
Thank you very much, Lisa. That's great to hear so much about the work that we cover as Agri-EPI Centre. So now we're going to hear more from CHAP. So we're going to go across to International Business Development Manager for CHAP, Dr. Jenna Ross. So Jenna is a farmer's daughter from Aberdeenshire. She has a passion for driving innovation in agriculture. She holds a PhD in environmental science, as well as an MBA, and has more than 10 years experience working on various international projects across North America, Europe, and Sub-Saharan Africa. She has completed a Nuffield Farming Scholarship, winning the Nuffield HSBC Silver Salver Award in 2020, and is now the current chairman of Nuffield Scotland. So we're going to hear some more from Jenna shortly.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our international delegates that have joined us from right across the globe for today's webinar entitled Your Passport to UK Agri-Tech Innovation. My name is Jenna Ross and I'm the International Business Development Manager for UK Agri-Tech Centre, Crop Health and Protection, or CHAP as we're better known. And today I'm going to give you an overview of our world-leading facilities and capabilities that can be used to drive global innovative solutions for the agricultural industry. So at CHAP, just like our sister centre Agri-EPI, who you've just heard from, along with Agrimetrics and CL, we all act as this nexus between UK government, industry and academia to help drive efficiency, sustainability and wealth right across the agri-food sector. And we do this by building innovative networks and being a catalyst for new innovations. And at CHAP, we deliver this through our partnership. We're made up of 12 delivery partners, which you can see listed on the slide here, along with industry input from 4 non-delivery partners, including Tesco, Frontier, ADAS and Bayer. And at CHAP, we cover 5 main themes, including crop and protein diversification, advancing intelligent agronomy, controlled environment agriculture, soil and crop health systems, and innovative crop health strategies. Now at CHAP, we're made up of world-leading facilities, including our biopesticide development lab in partnership with CABI, where we test efficacy of potential biopesticide candidates and carry out mass production, formulation and application studies. We also have our national reference collection in partnership with CABI and FERA, where we house a unique catalogue of UK crop-related microorganisms that's accessible through a single searchable database. We also work with CABI on the international Pest Horizon scanning capabilities, where CHAP helps supply 180 Android tablets, including the licensed PlantWise software, which can be used by plant doctors across Ghana, Nepal, Peru, Vietnam and Malawi. Next, we have our Refined Phenotyping Lab in partnership with Rothamsted Research, where we can automate repetitive phenotyping tasks using our PhenoCenter or our Videometer lab to help us distinguish or quantify features not seen with the naked eye, as well as identifying those unique spectral signatures for particular pests, diseases and weeds. With FERA, we partner on Crop Monitor Pro. This is a sophisticated forecasting and decision support tool that really assesses the risks posed by pests and diseases and looks at the need to spray. It produces daily risk forecasts and alerts based on hourly Met Office data on a 2x2 kilometre grid. And so far this has been developed for winter wheat, oilseed rape and potato in the UK, but we're also keen to expand into other crop types as well as other geographies. We also work with FERA on the eFlow mesocosm capability, which is one of the largest in Europe, if not the world. This simulates water courses, such as those at the edge of agricultural fields, to really determine the effects of agricultural contaminants, so these are plant protection products or pharmaceuticals, in high-tier risk assessments under controlled conditions. In our molecular diagnostic lab, we work alongside NIAB and have a range of tools and capabilities from metagenomics through to target capture and amplicon sequencing. Next, we work with Newcastle University on our mobile crop science laboratories, and these are mobile laboratories with an onboard state-of-the-art equipment for both sample collection and testing. Next, we work with Stockbridge Technology Centre on the field scale precision equipment, and this includes the strip till, which you can see here. And this is where we can test and trial the benefits of things such as flowering strips, companion crops, or cover crops. We also work with Stockbridge Technology Centre on the Advanced Glasshouse, which has been purpose-built to help support the biological pipeline to test and trial those biologicals. Also at Stockbridge Technology Centre, we have the Vertical Farming Development Centre, which is two side-by-side fully climatic controlled growth rooms to both test and trial technologies. At the Soil Health Facility at Cranfield University, where we work alongside Agri-EPI, we can look at assessing as well as phenotyping the entire growth cycle within this pilot-sized facility. At our crop storage facility, we work alongside AHDB, the Agricultural Horticultural Development Board, to provide research, expertise and training for crop storage industry, where we specialise in potato as well as other vegetable crops or top fruit storage for producers, supply chains and the broader industry. And at the ICEA, so our Innovation Hub for Controlled Environmental Agriculture, we collaborate alongside the James Hutton Institute and Liberty Produce to demonstrate and test next generation technologies to improve both the cultivation of indoor and protected crops. And finally, we have the Natural Light Growing Centre, which is a collaboration between ourselves, the University of Warwick and RIPE. And here we're looking at replacing traditional glasshouses with material ETFE, thus allowing greater UV penetration. And this is a great test site for new and emerging technologies such as micronutrients or bio-based products, and can also be used to optimize growing conditions such as plant health, nutrition, flavor, shelf life, and pollination. So with regards to international opportunities, we've seen from my slides from today that CHAP can offer a wide range of state-of-the-art, world-class facilities, along with world-leading expertise through our delivery partners. We also aim to build global networks and partnerships while delivering projects, demonstrators, and tackling wider challenges. And we try and catalyse all of this through a number of different mechanisms, including building consortiums to develop grant funding proposals, either as lead or collaborator, or through developing commercial contract research proposals along with clients. We also run a new innovations programme looking at market failure and bringing together various stakeholders to assess potential out-of-the-box solutions and build business cases for these solutions. We have our membership program, which of course we're launching the dual international membership alongside Agri-EPI, which opens up a fantastic opportunity for international organisations looking to enter the UK. We also aim to expand our reach through our strong marketing and events team. If you'd like to know more about CHAP or our sister Agri-Tech centres, then please do get in contact at the email address that you can see on your screen now, or via our various social media channels, which you can see in the top left-hand corner of your screen. And I'll look forward to taking your questions in the Q&A session later on in the webinar. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jenna. Can see some great opportunities between working with both Agri-Tech organisations. So before we move across to Professor Tony Furness from MagGrow, I just want to launch a short poll for everybody attending the webinar now. So if you could just vote, and it is about what value do you think membership could have in facilitating your growth plans in the UK? So I'm going to leave that open for a few moments so we can just get some feedback on the webinar so far and some of the services we're providing. Okay, and I'm going to end that poll now. You've got 3 seconds left to vote. Brilliant. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much for your feedback and participating in that. Okay, I'm now delighted to go to Professor Anthony Furness for a presentation on the joint capabilities between the two Agri-Tech centres and what is possible through working together. Professor Anthony Furness is Chief Scientific Officer from MagGrow UK and Visiting Professor at Harper Adams University. He is a Chartered Engineer with a Doctoral and Qualified Practitioner in Research. He engaged with MagGrow on a consultancy basis to help establish the company's research framework and associated strategy, and assist in researching and formulating the mechanistic foundations for MagGrow's magnetic assisted sprayer technology. So Professor Tony, we can see your screen. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon and good evening. Faced with the very significant challenges worldwide that include food security, climate change, and other planetary boundaries, and of course current and future pandemics, the need to operate within a circular and indeed a donut economic framework is paramount. And the international reach and the membership launch that this webinar is promoting is both opportune and essential in that respect. How do I move on? Oh, yes. There we go. In this slide, you can see the schematics for the circular and the donut economic frameworks. What is important with respect to these frameworks is they provide the facility to address global issues, and as a company we look to these sort of frameworks to provide that platform for looking at applications that can serve for economic purposes, corporate development purposes, trading purposes, and of course to address the very significant environmental and economic challenges. What is significant with regard to the donut model is that it distinguishes these boundaries, a social foundation wherein we've got attention to food, water, energy, and so forth, and indeed food security is part of that. And between that and the economic ceiling, which is distinguished here, is this effectively safe space for humanity. If we see shortfall in the social foundation, that's going to compromise that safe space. If we see overshoot with respect to the ecological ceiling, that compromises that safe space. And you see on the right-hand side of there, the planetary boundaries, which include climate change, but also biosphere integrity, novel entities, land system changes, freshwater usage, very significantly to biogeochemical flows. That directs us to very significantly to what the impact may be with regard to any application and the developments that we may make. And I'll be saying a bit more about that later. MagGrow as a company is pleased to be, and indeed privileged to be, part of the international promotion, and hopefully this presentation will illustrate the role that SMEs can facilitate and contribute to the developments that can make a real difference with regard to both worldwide challenges and corporate developments. MagGrow itself is a very dynamic, rapidly developing SME with a parent company based in Ireland, but a UK company that stems from that parent company. The overall company activity is large with respect to its professionalism, specialising in agriculture spraying using radical patented magnetic-based technology. The company's rapid development, and it has been rapid over the last few years, with some 20-odd members of staff now in the Dublin office, and an increasing number in the UK company. It's around about 5 at the moment, but we're looking to recruit further. It's based on an award-winning environmentally conscious technology that provides superior drift reduction, increased coverage capabilities, and reductions in water usage, and indeed with other agricultural inputs. It also exercises entrepreneurial vision and attention to establishing a strong scientific foundation for the technology through a program of strategically defined research and appropriate collaboration. It brings MagGrow into a leading position with regard to agricultural spraying and growth as a science-based technology company with the capability to diversify into new areas of activity and new spin-off companies. Key within this strategy is the development of its engineering research base with mutually beneficial research projects based on previous studies within MagGrow, and offering potential for further development and investment in new and radical areas of research and product design. Nanobubbles, which I'm going to talk about in the rest of this presentation, is just such an example. It's technology which is new. Its origins go back some distance, which is typical of technology advancement. They invariably adopt the sigmoid curve characteristic, so that the starting tails are long and then it starts to take off. We're at the beginning of this takeoff stage with regard to this technology. The company also exercises knowledge exchange and identifies opportunities for exploiting environmentally conscious attributes of the MagGrow technology and its research findings, further growing MagGrow's capability as a UK company and an internationally directed enterprise. It already has, through its parent company, this international reach in the United States particularly, but other areas and technologies around the world and in Europe. In building its UK capability, MagGrow has set up an agricultural research centre based in Cirencester Centre, UK. The centre will host research, development, demonstration, training on precision agriculture and engineering for arable and horticultural sectors. It's a new building which will offer R&D facilities and aims to progress next generation technologies and funding opportunities through UK funding sources, and indeed collaboration with organisations, research organisations such as CHAP and Agri-EPI Centre within the UK. Here you see a schematic of the plans for that centre. It is now complete. We don't yet have a photograph of the centre itself as yet. That will follow. What is key in developing that centre is collaboration. The aim is to specialise in applied research, development, and trial support, and to establish collaborations with different UK research centres and university. Currently, we're involved with Agri-EPI Centre, CHAP, and indeed Harper Adams in University. It's Harper Adams University, to which I am a visiting professor, linked with the engineering department and the National Centres for Precision Farming. Presently engaging with Agri-EPI Centre and CHAP in various activities, and with CHAP and Agri-EPI Centre with regard to the Innovate UK supported project on the bubble technology. And that involves this collaboration with the research organisation. It's not just about the research organisation providing services and facilities, enormous as they are with respect to these research centres. It is about collaboration, it's about synergy, it's about deriving innovation and progress as a consequence of that synergy. What happens here, it has benefits not just to the customer, as it were, MagGrow in this case, but also to the research centres themselves. And the particular project that we're engaged with CHAP and Agri-EPI Centre is to do with the use of ultrafine bubbles, also known as nanobubbles, and the action they may have upon plant development. And so MagGrow provides the hypothesis with respect to how those bubbles might work with respect to the plant production. And CHAP in this case will provide support with regard to the soil sensing and science, and Agri-EPI Centre with regard to remote sensing to obtain measures with respect to the crop development at the leaf level. And you've already heard about CHAP and its capabilities. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. You've already heard a lot about CHAP and its capabilities, and here you see the reference to both CHAP and Crabfield were involved in taking the hypothesis and helping with the proposed experimental design to investigate the nanobubble technology, and in particular with the facility it has for phenotyping and soil health facility, the lysimeters, the facilities for taking soil preparation and dealing with the seeding and the cultivation, the irrigation processes that are necessary to take the plant through to harvest. Agri-EPI Centre also provide that facility for remote canopy sensing for measuring growth factors. Sophisticated capabilities, sensing capabilities that involve a number of electromagnetic sources, LED sources, visual sources, near infrared sources and so forth, which together can provide indices which give us the necessary measures that are required to assess the plant development. This is very important for us as an SME. It gives us access to resources which are not normally available to SMEs per se. The technology we're dealing with is relatively new in terms of its application. The tails go back of the technology go way back, but we're now at a stage with regard to this technology which indicates both radical and revolutionary characteristics. We're dealing here with very small bubbles in the range of 10 to 1,000 nanometers in diameter. And there is this growing interest with respect to this category of bubbles, both commercially and as a focus for research. There in the slide, you can see the comparison with other particles, such as large particulate matter and red blood cells, but also with bacteria and viruses. So we're dealing here with bubbles which are around about the size of the coronavirus. But why are we looking at these bubbles? Well, MagGrow's exploratory studies, the early studies, have indicated that there is this very rich and potentially revolutionary foundation for interactive research, knowledge generation, and applications. What makes them special is that they have this surprising stable gas liquid interface properties that one can exploit. Classical physics would suggest that these bubbles should disappear in a matter of microseconds. They don't, because they have a stabilizing layer around the bubbles. The actual theory of stability of these bubbles is still a matter of research, but nevertheless we can detect and exploit the properties that this gas liquid interface provides. They have this surface area volume characteristics as well, which is also remarkable in that if we've got large populations of these bubbles, we can exploit the surface area and indeed the volume carrying capability of these bubbles to deliver various agents, such as gaseous agents contained within the bubble, or surface adherence to those bubbles, but also the surface charge associated with these bubbles. The bubbles can also have effects upon the aqueous medias, their properties with respect to surface tension, density, and so forth. But again, there are other factors that one can exploit with regard to these particular, with regard to the bubble technology. A very significant property here is the longevity of these nanobubbles in solution, and which of course is linked to the bubble stability. They can be lasting minutes, hours, days, even weeks, depending upon the condition under which these nanobubbles are contained. And there's also size and penetrative capabilities of these bubbles, particularly in relation to the size and adherence to larger bubbles, including viruses, bacteria, and so forth. So those properties collectively provide a very significant platform for looking at applications of all kinds.
Professor Tony, I do apologise to interject. If we could, 30 seconds left on presenting, if that's okay, to allow questions.
Sorry, I thought we were running late anyway. Okay, well, very quickly, MagGrow aims to, through this international membership, to develop its spray and irrigation solution, establish long-standing collaborations focused on a variety of spray delivery and irrigation systems, integrated media delivery developments, international commercial developments. And as you see here, there's prospective applications for bubbles together with magnet-assisted irrigation is very significant indeed. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very, very much, Professor. You will be able to view Professor Tony's presentations at the end of this session as well, because we'll send them out to you. So now we are delighted to go across to Pedro Carvalho from Knowledge Transfer Network to hear more about international funding opportunities. So Pedro holds a PhD in crop science from the University of Nottingham. He has expertise in plant and crop-based agriculture and obtained from a career undertaking research in both academic and commercial environments in the area of nitrogen use efficiency, water uptake, plant crop phenotyping, and development of innovative biofertilizers. So over to you, Pedro.
Good morning. My name is Pedro Carvalho, and I'm a Knowledge Transfer Manager in the AgriFood team at KTN. I would like to thank Agri-EPI and CHAP for inviting us to participate in this webinar, and you all for attending. Today, I would like to start by giving you a brief introduction to KTN and the support we give to organizations. Then I will move on to talk about some of the international activities that we've been doing in the AgriFood Africa Connect project, and also the work we've been doing in collaboration with the British Embassy, Colombia. And finally, I would like to give a brief introduction to Horizon Europe. KTN exists to connect innovators with new partners and new opportunities beyond their existing thinking. We accelerate ambitious ideas into real-world solutions. Our diverse connections span business, government, funders, research, and the third sector. And we have expertise across a wide range of disciplines, from space, transport, crops, and many other areas. In the case of the AgriFood team, we are a group of 10 experts specialized in the areas of livestock, aquaculture, food, microbiome, and plant and crops. And we support organizations by helping with partnering. We have access to a wide network of industry and research organizations, so we can find you the right partner for your project and consortium building. We provide updated information and news on our website, newsletters, and social media. We give strategic insight by leading the creation of strategic reports and roadmaps, organizing international expert missions, managing and running special interest groups and advisory boards. We also help with finding and accessing funding opportunities. We give feedback on bids, but due to the amount of requests we get, we do have to prioritize those we engage early in the process. And finally, we organize events for knowledge transfer and collaboration. We work across the UK, but also internationally for a section of KTN called Global Alliance. As part of that is the work we have been doing in AgriFood in Africa. The AgriFood Africa Connect is part of the GCRF AgriFood Africa program funded by the Global Challenges Research Fund and delivered by Innovate UK and other delivery partners. the AgriFood Africa Connect aims to build strong connections between the UK and the African agri-food sector to address key agri-food challenges in Africa. With this aim, we distribute a regular newsletter to more than 1,000 individuals, informing on key events, opportunities, and special interest articles. We also created a LinkedIn group for consortia building and collaboration that currently has over 600 members. Within this project, last summer, from June to August, we organized the AgriFood Africa Connect virtual missions, aiming to highlight challenges and trends within African agri-food systems, including crops, livestock, and food. This series of online missions ran for 6 weeks and totalized 40 events and 900 attendees. It also provided a space to make new connections and build a community of stakeholders from numerous African countries and the UK. All the videos are available on our YouTube channel, AgriFood Africa Connect, and constitutes a resource library of expert-led discussions about the key agri-food challenges in Africa. Finally, we created the AgriFood Africa Connect map. The map provides information about organizations operating in the agri-food sector across Africa and the UK, enabling you to showcase your company as open to opportunities and partnerships. You can visualize the agri-food sector as a whole and better understand it, to make connections and identify future partners for innovative projects, making it easier for UK and Africa organizations to collaborate. As it grows, the map will also support us in identifying trends and activity hotspots across the continent. Moving on to the work we've been doing in Colombia. Since 2018, KTN's Agri-Food team has worked with the British Embassy Colombia, particularly on the Agri-Tech missions in 2018 and 2020, missions that aim to introduce the UK Agri-Tech businesses to the agricultural landscape and opportunities in Colombia, to which Lisa Williams, Director of Business Development at Agri-EPI, attended last year. This year, in collaboration with our Colombia partners, AgriLink, we helped organize the Connect Agro Summit UK Call 2021, an event seeking to connect British and Colombian technology and business companies in the agriculture sector in a single digital space. KTN's AgriFood was instrumental in selecting the 15 UK Agri-Tech businesses to participate in the event. The 2-day summit was composed by various conferences, agri-talks, and business matching meetings. Finally, the last topic of my talk, the Horizon Europe. The Horizon Europe is the European Union Framework Programme for Research and Innovation, supporting large collaborative research with more than 3 EU partners, and has a total budget of 95.5 billion euros. And it will run from 2021 to 2027. As I think you all may know by now, the UK agreed with the European Commission in participating to Horizon Europe. Therefore, UK organizations will have the opportunity to participate in the program. In this slide is presented the overall structure of Horizon Europe. And as you can see, is formed by 3 main pillars. Pillar 1, Excellent Science. Pillar 2, Global Challenges and European Industrial Competitiveness. And Pillar 3, Innovative Europe. But I will focus on Pillar 2 because that's the one of most interest for the type of organizations that KTN gives support to. In Pillar 2, there are 6 clusters, and the one of most interest for the agri-food sector is Cluster 6, that is focused in food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. As you know, the UK has a very success history in participating in previous programs, and we strongly recommend organizations to participate in this one too. It is a very prestigious competition, therefore increasing the visibility of UK organizations at the European and global level, and will help to build partnerships. It represents an additional funding stream apart from the national programs, and it has a high funding rate up to 100% of eligible costs. It presents less constraints compared to other funding schemes. For example, no consortium size limits or budget allocation limits to non-industrial partners. It can be a first step towards internationalization and export markets. It gives access to cutting-edge technologies, infrastructure, and talent. If you would like to know more, you can watch the record of the Introduction to Horizon Europe webinar that we ran on the 11th of March, and it's already available online. And we also ran a series of events last week for individual clusters. The recordings are not yet available, but will be available on our website soon. To finish, I would like to share some useful links with you. Our webpage, the AgriFood Funding Roundup that presents an updated list of current funding opportunities, our AgriFood newsletter that we encourage you to register so you can get updates firsthand. And if you want to know more about what I presented here today and how can KTN help your organization, please feel free to email me. Thank you.
Brilliant. That was great to hear from Pedro. So I know we've got 2 minutes left to go until the end of this webinar, but I would like to launch a short poll and just try and cover a few questions off before we all leave. So I'm just going to launch the second poll very quickly. So if you've got some time, just 20 seconds to start voting on which aspects of the dual international membership would your business benefit the most from based on the presentation today. Brilliant. Thank you for everybody who's voting. It's looking like networking is very important to you all accessing the UK market. 3 seconds left to vote. All right, brilliant. Thank you. I'm just going to share those results with you all so you can view them. So I suppose my role now is really to conclude and bring the session to an end before we just finish on some questions. But I would like to thank all the speakers today. They've been absolutely brilliant. And, you know, there's some examples of the kind of activities which you could benefit from joining the 2 Agri-Tech organisations. So not only do you have the opportunity to access a wide ecosystem and make valuable connections, you have the opportunity to tap into their technical resources, assets, facilities, and project management expertise. So for all those on the webinar today, the next steps, if you are interested in joining the dual membership, is to get in touch with the 2 email addresses on the bottom of the screen there, and you'll be able to access this new initiative that Agri-EPI Centre and CHAP are running as part of developing the UK's Agri-Tech Innovation Network. So thank you very much. We're now going to go across to the questions. So we have a question that has come in for Professor Anthony Furness, and it is, do you think MagGrow's technology could reduce the risk of spray drift sufficiently to address some of the concerns surrounding aerial application of crop spraying, which is currently prohibited in the UK? Can I ask all of the speakers as well to bring their video on and come off mute? This might be better actually taken offline, that question, Anthony. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, I can deal with it. With the case of drone spraying, aerial spraying, the issues to do with drift are somewhat more complicated than they are from boom sprayers. Nevertheless, the technology that we're dealing with could have benefit in that respect, but it would require appropriate research and appropriate investigations into, you know, both the media delivery and its dispersion.
Do we have any news on when the next funding competition? That's a question that's come through. Pedro, that's one for you.
Hi. what funding competition are we talking? We should hear about Horizon Europe, hopefully by April, May, but we don't have certain dates. In terms of other funding calls, we have UK calls. We have currently the Farming Innovations Pathway and the Smart Grants too. Yes, so those would be the ones. The Farming Innovations Pathway is probably the most interesting one at the moment, and the deadline is the 29th of April. So if anyone is looking for partners or to build consortium, please drop me an email, and for sure we can help with that. And yeah, but there's a link on my slides that it's the AgriFood roundup, and that should give an update. It's an updated list of the current funding opportunities.
So do you have to be from outside of the UK to join the membership scheme? So I'll go across to Lisa for that one.
No. Very brief answer. You can be in the UK or internationally based.
Just one final question. So any examples of the support that you give to members outside of the UK, so on the international platforms? Is there anything, Lisa and Jenny, you want to just finish off with those messages?
I guess I'll pick that one up. I think the biggest thing that's been mentioned right across today is that soft landing into the UK. So for an international company looking to launch their technologies or trial their technologies in the UK, then the Agri-Tech centres really do offer that soft landing. And I think that, along with business support and along with business support from DIT, which you heard from earlier today as well, you've got all the tools in your toolkit to do that. And I think that's what's great about today's webinar, is it really does pull together, one, the facilities that are available to test and trial technologies, two, the funding that's available, which has been displayed by Pedro from the KTN, and two, where DIT can play a role in providing business support.
Just one final question, actually. It is, what is the fee for joining the two membership organisations?
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, great.
So the fee is £500. Normally, to join individual organisations, it's £300. So you have an opportunity to have a discount of £100 for this joint membership.
I'm going to finish the session now, just because we've gone 5 minutes over, and I appreciate people have other meetings to go to and would like to get some lunch as well. So thank you, everybody, all the speakers, for your great presentations, and thank you for all that have attended. And if you haven't, if you weren't able to attend, we'll send those videos out to yourself and your contacts as well. We will send further information about the opportunity to opt onto the membership scheme. But for now, I would like to say thank you all and have a great rest of the day. Say goodbye all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.